So I decided to document my journey in what I'm calling Zero to Hero. I've been trying to work on my business for a while, and I've read books and joined groups and did all the things I was supposed to do, but it just wasn't working for me. So then I decided, you know what? I need a mentor or something like that. And there's a couple of people that I really admire, and one of them was doing words, Heather. One of them was doing a challenge that kind of helped with the presentation part of it, of letting people know exactly what it is I'm doing and how I can help them. And I think that's kind of my weakness, is like, I can teach you stuff. I love teaching people things, but I didn't know how to get the word out there. And I still don't. That's kind of the point of this. So I joined that challenge. It was a 3-day event. It was really great. And then at the end, a select few people were allowed to apply in order to work one-on-one with this particular person. Fortunately, I was one of the people accepted. They accepted less than half of those who applied. And honestly, I didn't think they would accept me because I technically don't meet the criteria, because my revenue is much lower than they were asking for, but apparently I met all the other criteria. So lucky me, I got in. So what I wanted to do is really document the process of what is McCall having me do and how is that getting me towards my goal. So this is kind of my brain. This video is really just kind of catching up to that point. So far, we've had a few calls where they've helped me to words. So far, we've had a few calls where they've helped me to define who my audience really is and what I'm really giving them. Because if you leave it to me, I would just tell you that I'm good at teaching Microsoft 365 tools. You really need to know Microsoft 365 tools because a lot of your companies give them to you and expect you to magically know how to use them. But through some of the probing questions and like asking about my process, we've come to realize that it's more than that. Like, I tend to spend time with people and jumping on calls and stuff like that and guiding them through a process. And as I'm guiding them through the process, it's always towards one of the person's end goal, right? And so as we dig more into that, it's actually creating a more dynamic thing that I can say to people and be like, oh yeah, I can help you with X, Y, and Z. This week's homework is to define X, Y, and Z better. So hopefully as I go through this journey, I can actually define that here as well. And get from the point where what I am at zero right now is like, I have a product, I have a passion to teach people, but I don't know how to tell people about it. The hero at the end would be like, hey, I'm successfully doing webinars and presentations and people want to join my group or buy my training or whatever it is, right? So that I can make an impact on their life and their work and make them feel better about their knowledge and their situation. Especially right now, as this video is being filmed, there's a lot of upheaval in the job market, right? And so people are feeling very insecure right now. And having those hard skills not only looks great on a resume, but depending on how companies are doing their cuts, some companies are being very arbitrary about it, honestly, but others are like looking at, okay, who's got the hard skills and who can make the most out of what they already have and be productive so that we don't need to keep so many people. And I'm not talking about toxic productivity either. I'm talking about people being able to make the most out of the tools that they already have. So for example, if person A has messy file management, they can never find what they're looking for. Nobody else can find it, which means it slows down the work process. And person B has all of their files nicely organized in teams and everybody can find it and they can co-edit and they can quickly get things done in the reasonable amount of time that it should take. Who are you going to keep, person A or person B? So anyway, that was kind of a ramble. I always ramble, right? So that was kind of a ramble about like where I'm starting and where I'm hoping to go. All right. Talk to you later.